Good afternoon, ma'am. Thank you so much for joining us today. My name is Aisha Jain, and I'm currently pursuing my MBA at SIBM Pune. As part of our experiential learning assignment on leadership and capacity building, we are required to interview leaders to understand their journeys, challenges, leadership styles, and capacity building approaches. Based on this conversation, my group will be creating a digital storybook that combines real leadership insights and academic theories. Your perspective will play a valuable role on this project, and I truly appreciate your time. Ma'am, I'll start with the first question. Could you briefly introduce yourself and share your leadership journey so far, and how did you first step into the leadership role?
Thank you, Aisha. And I think this is a very good question. I often get this question that how you get into the stepping into the leadership role. So, firstly, to introduce myself, I am Sudipta Paul Chaudhary. I work in a global company which is made in India, but then designed and to be built globally. That's QNu Labs, and Q means quantum, and new means which is fairly new. It's a futuristic technology, and I work as a CMO in this company. I joined this company a few months back. Before that, I was working in an AI-powered SaaS product management platform based in USA, and they had their offices in India and Netherlands. I have overall 22 years of experience in global marketing, product management, pre-sales, leadership, sales enablement, and working on the lot of marketing tech and the SaaS-based platform. I've disrupted my career moving from various industries from health tech to IT to telco to fintech to futuristic technology like AI, agentic AI, and now in quantum tech, cybersecurity. So that has been a roller coaster. If I now look at my last 22 years, how did I get into all of these different roles when I didn't really have those, the background of those technology? What does it really mean? So that was one thing. The second thing is other than being a CMO, I love to wear various hats. So one part of me is a strong believer of giving back to the society, where I teach colleges, like as you are right now interviewing me. I am also an industry mentor for PGDBM Sales and Marketing Batch for Alliance University. I also work with the Jagdish Seth School of Management, MIT University. There are a few foreign universities, Edinburgh, for example, and then there are a few other universities from New York and the California. That helps me to understand how do you understand the concept, what is that not there during our time when we learned marketing, and how do we make it things easy, bite size, consumable, and relatable. So that is one thing. I also have a very strong background in market research, and I have been a part of Harvard Research Advisory Council member last 3 years. Been done many research across the globe. Recently, I have also received Harvard Leadership Excellence Square member. I have done my TEDx, the last year. Very nice and insightful experience. I am willing to do it one more time. Other than that, I also love to work as a board advisor, and I have done my independent director, certification last year. So I'm also working with couple of boards, helping them making their business strategy, sales strategy, helping them to look at the current market, what are the futuristic things, what are the board guidelines should be when it comes to AI, how to create those guidelines, what does it really mean for quantum tech, are you really quantum ready? Those are the difficult questions where I work with different CXOs, try to be their advisor, being their best friend, best advocate, and that's about me. So far, loving the journey, truly.
Ma'am, that's very inspiring. I mean, not just in your professional, but you're also contributing to the society. That is something very inspiring, ma'am. Moving on to the
Yeah.
next question,
I
how
think
would
you
you
also
describe?
asked me how did I step into the leadership role
Right,
when you
right.
was this,
Yes,
right? And
ma'am.
I was about to answer that. Um, I think back to 2007, right? I completed my engineering and then I did my MBA from IIM Calcutta. I also did another MBA from UK. And 2003 onwards, I started working because of that unique curriculum. When you work, you also learn. And I was also an intern. Few parts I have spent in ICICI UK. And then I came to India and I started working. So While I was changing my role from ICICI to EMC, which has been now acquired by Dell EMC, I was working already at a global competitive intelligence role. And because EMC and HP are, similar kind of companies, I moved to HP. And there, after a year, I got into this consulting role where I need to manage a team. It was not a typical name of a leader, but then you are really managing a team. So that was the first time that I got into leadership role. But if you really ask me a formal leadership title when I got it, that was in Oracle in 2008. And how did it happen? Happened very naturally because of the competence and because of the role that was given. And I already had a lot of diverse experience in various companies in different departments that gave me that insight that how do I really deal with this role, right? And see, every role, when you get into leader, people don't accept you as a leader. It's your competence, it's your communication, it's your empathy, and it's the lead by the example that was always, being there for me. And that is how it is. It was not an easy thing. I think first few months were challenging, understanding the team, challenging in a positive challenge, because it is up to you as an individual. How do you take the challenge? How do you look at the challenge? If you are a challenger, or if you are a warrior kind of a spirit, then you will say that, okay, I will conquer each and everything. So that's the way I looked at it. I created a rapport with my team, understanding their strength, and that's how I moved and dealt with it. Yes.
Great, ma'am. That's great to hear. Ma'am, how would you describe your leadership style and how has it evolved over the years? I mean, from the starting and now, currently, how is it?
Totally. See, when I became the leader, for me, a couple of things was very important to know. What should I do? What should my team be doing? Where to delegate? What are the things to keep it? Because this is very urgent, very important, very confidential, to keep it with me. And when I started in my leadership journey, there was the small me inside that, okay, you can do everything, so you were not really prepared, or because I'm also a new leader, how do you really ensure that your team and you have the trust factor, right? That because you are working with CXO, program management office, and these are very delicate, very confidential, there should not be any kind of leakage that it should happen, and then your credibility, company's credibility goes for a toss. So I was keeping those things with me. But over the years, when I have done it in different companies, the leadership styles are very different. I have worked with American MNCs, I've worked with European MNCs, I've worked with Indian MNCs. The leadership style is very versatile. And I also travel to many countries, right? So that really helps you to understand the way people connect, the way they visualize, what is that enough factor. For some cases it's just the coffee, right? That actually creates that bond forever. For some places it's very process driven. You need to teach them often, teach them from different direction, so that they remember it, they resonate it, and then they get back to it, right? And Americans ways of working is you get a go getter, you get
Right.
charged on things, right? European is very process driven. So when I was working in Ericsson being the Swedish company, and I've been in Oracle, HP, Intuit, and there you just take charge and you are just always on. But in Ericsson, you wait for different group to approve, groups to understand, one after another. There are different regions, there are business units who all have has to come together, make an opinion, then only you can move forward. It takes time, it takes the conviction, it takes that kind of a trust that you build. So I used to often go out, sit with those leaders, different regions, sometimes the customers, try to understand how do they deal with their daily professional life, and what is that one thing I can help them do better. When you are helping them to solve their problem, then you have been seen as a trusted friend, right? And how you do things uniquely and differently, and also faster. So this is where you create the rapport. So that is what I have seen. Collaborative, my style has been more collaborative, more empathetic, showing the why, but also showing the urgency, so that there is a timeline for everything that you do. Because for us CXOs, it's also the KPI, it also means the faster time to market, it also means the getting the strategic competitive advantage, it also means a unique go to market strategy, different marketing stack, working with all other CXOs, at the same time. So you really need to have time bound, urgency, sense of delivery, ownership, accountability, those things keeping in mind.
Great, ma'am. And in this journey of yours, what has been the biggest challenge and how did you overcome it? Any such?
Yes, there are many, but I will give you an example. So this is one of the MNCs, I worked, and I was actually handling more than 11 regions and 5+ business units. And what has happened is we were trying to welcome a new technology inside that company, and it is not just my department, it's all those regions, all those BUs, right, business units. How do you really ensure that they adapt to it? Of course, there was a huge resistance. People thought that this technology is not good, they don't see the benefits of it. Even though people know, there were some set of people, they were not really updating, or they were not really adhering to those training schedule. We had a roadmap that we have already laid it out to all the regions and the business units. By this should happen, and we saw it is really difficult inside all those regions. How will you do this? So I used to often go to the headquarter, I used to often go to the regions to sit with them, do a workshop with them, and because your in-person meetings are very valuable, that is how you create the rapport and the trust. And that has really helped me created some insights which was not possible to this online, through this online or a video conferencing meeting, right? We have been more I would say adjusted to this factor, because after COVID this has been a complete norm, more or less, right? We still do the work from home and things like that. So that is one thing I would say, that there was a challenge when we were trying to do the digital transformation, introducing new technologies. But over the time we were there. It took time for us, but we did meet our targets in the first 5 years. The KPI that we had, it enormously reached to a height that no one has done such thing before us, before me, taking charge of that quarter. And it also impact positively to the sales strategy. It was part of CEO's agenda, it was part of every customer facing team's KPI, and that's why we were able to drive this. Everybody has their KPI, they should see this as a key performance indicator. That's how we were able to do this.
Great, ma'am. And in connecting this question, the long journey, professional journey you had, and the different teams and companies you have worked with, what approaches do you have specifically used to strengthen the team capabilities and engagement? And like, what has worked for you?
And see, I have moved more as a people leader to as a coach, right? If you know, there is a concept called situational leadership, right? It tells you that you identify your team members in specific situation, right? If they have the right skill, but then they don't have that insight how I do this, okay, you need to then guide them. So let's say if there is a fresher, or I often take in a lot of college fresh recruits, right? So they have the right ability, they have the right mindset, but they don't have the skill. So you need to really guide them, tell them, like the way you talk to chat GPT, or the way you talk to your mom, your friends, right? Using those layman's language, you will do this, you will do then this, and use some of their words that they relate better, right? Some of the Gen Z or Zen Alpha languages, right? Bro and all of those things, right? So that's the one way of doing it. Now think there are very senior members that they are there. When I was in my previous companies, which are global MNCs, people who used to report to me are VPs, directors, senior directors. They are actually senior to me in years as well, right? And I'm comparatively a young leader, but there they have all the skill sets, they have a lot of competence and the knowledge, but the area that I am driving it, I know my area very well. So how I can help them move forward in that area where they seek knowledge from me, but then they have all the right insight and the capability. So there you are working as a coach, right? Then there are few other areas where the person has the skill, person also has the ability to do things. You just need to give that person different types of challenging projects, global project, because that is what the person is looking for as a career growth. So you work as a facilitator, helping them. Or I know how there had been enormous instances where I have moved people out of my team, even though he or she has been the fabulous contributor, he or she has been getting awarded every time. I felt as a short term, yes, it will definitely hint, a kind of bug me, or because I am losing that person. But look, it is good for that person's growth, and no one is tied to one company, right? They always seek variety of roles. So you need to really understand for the long term goal and long term growth of that person. Now there is another person who has previous skills and has the right ability, but for the work that has been given, they don't have that particular skill. So you need to train them. So let's say when I was coaching my team for the new AI and the agentic AI, I used to have everyday classes. I used to send them these videos, go and attend this industry event, go and learn this thing. This is what I have created. This is the tool, how to use this. So you do it show and tell. You become the role model. You tell them what are the right prompt, you tell them what are the do's and don'ts, what you can do with agentic AI, what you cannot. So then over the time, there were few people, they were thinking, if AI has come, what will happen to my job, right? I said, you should learn AI, because AI plus human are actually a co-creator. It's great for the society if used right. So there was a hindrance, there was a resistance, but over the time they understood that you need to learn those new technologies, right? To be relevant. And today it has been a great asset for each of them. Everybody understand, and their productivity, automation, overall creating agents and doing things faster, but also with quality, that matters. So you use all these four quadrant, put your team members there, and then use with style. But always empathy is the greatest thing. Even though they may not be coming with the same background, but if you understand what really motivates or what is really a concern for them, and if you pave the way smoother for them, they will take you as a friend more than as a manager or as a leader. Yeah.
I mean, ma'am, that's a great approach, and the outcomes are also really inspiring. In today's workspace, there are almost 4 to 5 generations who are working together. So, ma'am, how do you manage and motivate all these generational workforce, and especially our generation, which is Generation Z? What differences do have you felt in the expectation and work styles, and how do you bridge those gaps?
Yeah, so see, because my son is also a teen, and I often go to college, and I also, do those interaction with you and few other students who are from engineering and also from the PG backgrounds, right? So definitely there is a very different skill set that I see. First of all, you have been blessed with the digital environment, which we have not received. We used to write letters in typically the those postcard. We used to write it. Now everything on WhatsApp, or you just send it on Discord or on Slack, and you are just done, right? And there is a good side of it, but then there is a, you guys are easy to adapt any new technology comes to your way, right? You have been kind of a citizen of this digital media, if I truly say. Whereas we are not an insider, but we have been forced to utilize. But we don't really have any grudge. We started identifying the good part of it, and so this is the way I see when I talk to Gen Z. I tell that you teach me what is a new idea, that what is a new tool that you have learned. Now apply that tool in this marketing scenario and tell what is the big problem that I can solve today or we can solve today, and which we can show as a case study to the other department when people can also adapt the same tool. It's a great challenge. And you won't believe, sometimes I get so, it's so simple, but I have not thought through this. And that idea has come from, one of my freshers or the young people. The other day, I was working with one of the college of creating the agentic AI, and we were using relevance AI, and then there were NA10 and a few other, those LLMs and the agentic AI systems, right? And we were stuck because the memory usage was quite high, and the amount that we paid to buy those LLMs, it was, we didn't really anticipate that would be the budget. So we thought to we will not pay and we'll try to do things, which is free. And we identified somewhere which is still very good, and it is not really allowing to give your public data, I mean the confidential data to the company, because the use case that we have chosen, it's a public use case, any marketing generic use case, and we were able to do that successfully. And the later, after few weeks, you won't believe, few of these LLMs already came up with that tool. So you don't really have to create an agentic AI because you already got that tool in auto GPT, part of your chat GPT, right? So but they started writing the code. We looked into 5 or 6. So what was the insight that I learned from that day? That um, learning gives you various ways, opening and trying, experimenting, and then nailing it down to one or two best category. And then you do two ways: either you without pay you do it, or you do with pay. The kind of output and the quality that you get, it is actually different, right? So if you buy the ChatGPT paid version, and if you use the ChatGPT 5, which is a free version, you will see there is a quite a good amount of change. Same with Claude, same with Perplexity. I use Perplexity Pro. When I was not using Perplexity Pro, only the free version, I see there is a lot of quality differences in terms of output. So that has given me, different ways of communicating. But when I work with director or BP, even my CXOs, right? I always act as a problem solver, the person whom you can easily approach to. They don't really feel that, shall I come to Sudatta's cabin without knocking? Can I come and discuss something? Yes, you can. Because they are here for some kind of issue which they cannot deal with, and that's why they are seeking my expertise, right? How you can help your colleague. So that is how I work. And also with my directs who had been the directors, as I told, they may be from different geography, but then there is some common set of skills that we both have that actually tie us together. It could be your professional skill set, it could be some personal liking. So let's say I and the other person liked cricket, or we watch this kind of Netflix series. So we always do this small talk that what did you watch last week? And that's how, you melt the ice, and then you get into the actual concept. And hey, I always say that, hey, I'm looking for this help from you. I never say or instruct or, order them, because that definitely don't work. In today's industry, everybody is unique. Everybody has their special skill sets. So how you can work together. So that's the way I do it, yes.
That's very insightful, ma'am. Moving on towards the end, what advice would you give to the young leaders? And if you had to describe leadership in one word or phrase, what would it be?
Being a very positive person, and also an optimistic person, I would say leadership is fun plus watch out. Because many things, when you are not thinking from your brain, when you are not thinking logically, you do many things impromptu or emotional, but the consequences could be dealt severely later. So please think before you do. So that's why it's fun, but it is also watch out, because you need to watch out for those brownie things. So never take decision when you are not calm. Write it down, and then you identify what are the pros, what are the weighing options, and then you kind of go ahead. So that is one word that I would like to give a message. um, I hope that helps.
Ma'am, thank you so much. That has been a valuable advice. And thank you so much for your time and sharing your thoughtful insights. This conversation has been extremely valuable for our projects, and I'm sure it will help the other future leaders whom we'll be sharing this project with. Thank you so much, ma'am.
Thank you so much, Aisha.